Lost Prediluvian knowledge of our ancestors hidden in the Great Pyramid of Giza. What if I told you that the pyramids may not be mere tombs of our ancestors, but great vaults of knowledge that was to be preserved for future generations? What if I told you that this view may be actually evidenced by the newest discoveries inside the Great Pyramid of Giza? In this episode, we'll talk about the lost knowledge of our ancestors hidden in the Great Pyramid of Giza and some speculations that the newly found Great Void in the Giza Pyramid may be the secret chamber, the vault of knowledge that was actually written about in many ancient texts and sources. My name is Alexander, I'm a Polish researcher and author of Deja Vu Has Everything Already Been, my book about lost civilizations, and in this episode we will speculate a little bit about the newly found Great Void in the Great Pyramid of Giza. And this Great Void was actually found in 2017 during the Scan Pyramids project, which by the muon tomography scanned the entire Great Pyramid. And this method is actually very accurate, and it was used, for instance, for many geological things, including rocks, including volcanoes and many other things. So it was perfect for the scanning of the Giza Pyramid. And the Great Pyramid of Giza, when scanned, actually showed a great void, a great empty space above the Grand Gallery. And this space is very mysterious, and some researchers think that it may be the hidden chamber which contains the Prediluvian knowledge. When it comes to the Prediluvian knowledge, we've got plenty of sources that speak of this hiding of knowledge because of the incoming disaster. And for instance, Arab chroniclers, which were taking the information from the earlier ancient Coptic sources, speak about the great King Saurid. And King Saurid was to build the pyramids about 300 years before the Great Flood in order to preserve knowledge and artifacts for future generations. And according to these sources, King Saurid hid in the Great Pyramid of Giza, for instance, many astronomical charts, many artifacts including weapons and metals that did not rust at all, and glass that was bendable, which, as we see when it comes to ancient times, is almost impossible and looks as magic. And also many other things, including ancient books of the previous patriarchs. And it's very interesting because a similar tradition can be found in ancient Egypt, and this tradition concerns the lost books of Thoth, about which I spoke in my other video. And these lost books were attributed to the ancient god of wisdom Thoth, who was also the inventor of the hieroglyphic script. And Thoth was to write many thousands of books. According to Iamblichus, he wrote 20,000 of books, and according to the Greco-Egyptian priest Manetho, there were even 36,000 of those books. And just as these numbers may be a mere fantasy of our ancestors, the late Clement of Alexandria saw 42 of them actually existing at the beginning of our current era. So these ancient books may not be just a mere fantasy of our ancestors and may not be just a mere fairy tale. And also, according to Arab chroniclers, this King Saurid was also compared to the Egyptian god of wisdom Thoth, and some sources provide information that Saurid was actually Thoth, this author of many books. So as we see, the Giza pyramids may truly be constructed in order to preserve this Prediluvian knowledge, and these books that were, for instance, instance written by Thoth. And this is very interesting because another clue may be found in these metals that didn't rust, because many experiments in the energetic properties of the pyramid proved that when we put some metals inside of these pyramids, these metals are actually not rusting. And for instance, Czechoslovakian Karol Drubal patented the Great Pyramid razor sharpener because any object with the same dimensions as the Great Pyramid of Giza, made for instance out of carton, could actually preserve the razor blades for a much longer periods of times. So actually, as we see, this mention of Arab chroniclers may be proved by the later discoveries in the energetic properties of the Great Pyramid. So, coming back to the Great Void, can it be really the place in which all of these treasures are still hidden because no one previously entered this void? Or is it just an error in the Muon tomography of the Scan Pyramids project? Or maybe is it just an empty void with nothing inside? It is just, a construction thing just done while building the Great Pyramid of Giza to actually speed up its construction. These are of course open questions, and until we get into this void, we won't know what is there. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out my other videos about ancient mysteries and many more. You can also check out my book about lost civilizations. Deja Vu has everything already been. Thank you for your attention and goodbye to the next video.